I like to put up a question to you. Why human capital so central in driving women-led growth, especially in today's global economy? So, how would that link between education, health, skills, and of course, with prosperity?
Because in 2011, I actually took a leap of faith and I quit my really stable job as an academic lecturer in Brunei. And I went into this hairy, scary world of entrepreneurship. But, so I remember taking out about 10,000 US dollars worth of salary then, and I invested in myself, and I stayed in KL, and I did my certified talent and professional uh, uh, certified talent and competence professional certification, and I did my certified trainer professional too. And I thought, right, all in all, this is about 15,000 US dollars, right? And that was a huge, huge investment in myself, because I said, this is necessary. I'm no longer in civil service. I don't have a cushy job. This is it. Right. What do you do? So, Alhamdulillah, that was the first biggest investment in myself from my own pocket. So in your talk at the Women Economic Forum as well, $28 trillion, that's the amount of the GDP growth which is possible if women participated equally in the economy. And that's according to the McKinsey report. And that's supposed to happen in 2025. However, women only receive 3% of the venture capital investments. So it's this huge disadvantage about talent, but it's about continuous growth. Another statistic also comes to mind here, right? Women reinvest 90% of our income into families and community, and this is a really significant data. The statistic is from the UNDP, and I was thinking, wow, that's amazing. So if a woman earns 100 US dollars, $90 of it is actually going to go back into the families and communities. So, that's just amazing. That's really selfless to me. But why are we not helping out the women more?
I'd like to ask you is, in your experience, what's the biggest gap between the human capital investment that arises, between the rural, between the urban, between the STEM fields, between the leadership access, between the digital literacy? So this biggest gap in empowering women and giving them the chance to progress, what do you, in your experience, how do we bridge these gaps?
Enablers. Say, for example, they would have problems with regards to structural barriers, societal barriers, internal barriers as well. And let me dissect this a little bit, right? For example, the structural barrier, and I face this as well, right? Access to finance. So when I pitch for my business ideas, I find it quite difficult to pitch for financials, because, well, I'm pitching towards men. And I don't know how it is, but I was thinking that, do they want me to speak second, but put forward my co-founder who has to be a man? And the other structural thing here is this, I was doing some work, project management, and this also happened to some other women as well. Uh, the client said, okay, let me speak to your boss. And when we say, but I'm the manager, I'm the boss here, they said, no, 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 let me speak to the boss. So that's really strange to me. It's like, hear me for what I am, see me for what I am. The boss is a woman, right? So that's also another structural barrier which we face. I think the other thing which comes to mind here is societal barrier to our own investment, whereby cultural expectations can come into play. Now, Brunei can also be a masculine society. This is really interesting as well. I don't how I don't think it's that bad in Malaysia, but a few years ago I came across this. I was again presenting a business idea, and then somebody said to me, a young man said to me, oh, that's just too aggressive. you're too competitive. And I was thinking, why is that? That idea took me aback because I just want to be, I just actually want to have a say and bring something to the plate here. Listen to my business idea. I'm bringing some goodness in here. But the feedback was I was being too aggressive, I was being too competitive, and I thought that's really an odd thing to say, right? But that I'd like, and I was just wondering to myself, if it came from a man, would that be accepted? Would that be like, great, fantastic idea? That's really great. Here's $1 million, go do it, So that was an interesting aspect of my cultural expectations as well. So, but hey, things are changing now. Inshallah ta'ala, you can have home-based businesses as well. Therefore, the woman can actually be close still to the children and have some uh, uh, go for child rearing expectations, fulfill that motherhood as well, but also have a really good income, inshallah, through entrepreneurship. So things are changing, alhamdulillah. The other thing which I came across quite a lot here, and I try to talk myself out of this, is also, that little voice saying, "You're not good enough, Mona," right? Who are you to say that this is a great business plan? So I have to coach myself, and other people have got to remind me too, in terms of, for example, my business mentors and yourself also, Datin, saying, you know what, you can do this. It's a sisterhood. Just do it. Don't let that little voice bring grow. We have to support the economy, right? We have to have the 4 C's of human capital investment, which is grow in terms of our capability. That's the first C, right? Grow in terms of your skill sets, grow in terms of your education for the future. The second C that I'd like to address here is that your confidence. Have higher self-efficacy, sisters. Have higher self-belief. Be visible out there. I think when other women see the goodness that you're doing, we're bound to be the cheerleaders and say, "Yay, go for it, sister, inshallah," right? The other, because I'm there. I was like literally
Yes.
clapping at the Women's
Mhm.
Economic Forum. The other thing here also is that in terms of the connections. Um, I really believe that where I am standing right now is because, excuse me, because of the connections given to me, the networks given to me, and the mentors coming to me and saying, Mona, I see a spark in you. I want to help you. So connections is important for us. The final thing also is, capital. Human capital investment requires capital. Become We have to become financially literate. We have to have access to funding as well. So all of these things, the 4 C's of human capital investment, we have to really look deeper into that to enable the economy to really thrive, inshallah. Life integration and balance, invest in faith too. And I have to say that, coming from a beautiful religion, we have to invest in the here, in the now, for the hereafter too. So for me, when I practice religion, I give my problems to uh, God, right? I ask God for barakah in whatever I do.
Voices that unheard, equality that is not being given. So what is your thoughts about this, Dr. Mona?
So when you combine knowledge, heart, purpose, action, inshallah, you can create an unstoppable ripple effect for humanity. I think at this point in time, I'd like to share with everybody a really short faith-inspired growth framework, which I tend to use as well. It's got 3 main components here. One is the knowledge, the ilm. So, sisters, we need to go out and seek leadership knowledge, business knowledge, personal knowledge, faith knowledge. And I remind myself first and foremost that seeking knowledge is an obligation for any Muslim. And to me, this is always a way forward. It's progression. You're just moving forward, forward, forward. That's the reason why you have to acquire knowledge, because knowledge will be used for goodness, and the knowledge we use for goodness, it's wisdom. And that's part and parcel of legacy setting, isn't it? Right? You acquire knowledge for wisdom, and you put it into good use for legacy, inshallah. And I encourage us to walk with heart, the qalb, lead with sincerity, compassion, and values. And I think Dr. Sarifa also mentioned, she kept on saying purpose, purpose, purpose. And I was thinking that's absolutely on point. She has a strong purpose. She's leading with authenticity, with sincerity, with compassion and values. She's seeing that everybody has got to be elevated, inshallah. And the third thing in this faith inspired growth framework of mine here is that, there's always action, the amal. And we need to apply consistent steps, even the small steps, towards building a better future for everyone. Change takes a long time. We all know that. But when we put everything together, the knowledge, the heart, the purpose, the North Star, the action, inshallah, we'll be able to create an unstoppable ripple effect. Yeah. So
And from you, your strong, punchy methodology that you want to bring forward so that we remember Dr. Mona has created this self-progressive input that we have this energy to carry with us, to go through, to have this process, to bring goodness around us. So let's us hear from you.
the greatest legacy isn't what we leave for people. And I think that it's what we leave in people.